War. My name is Kimmy. The purpose of Worth the War is sparing hearts by rethinking love. If you think we can do a better job with love and relationship than we're doing today, you have found the exact right channel.
I'm excited to share with you the second part of my discussion with Coach T. You can find him on Instagram as The Date Coach, and he provides resources on online dating and even a boot camp that will help people really navigate these waters well. Today we're going to dial down and focus on how to stay safe in online dating. If this is going to be a huge way that people meet each other, this topic becomes more important every day.
Today, I am really excited to introduce you to Coach T.
Hey, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
When you're talking with a client and they tell you certain things about how somebody is responding to you or whatever, what are the things that you just go, that's a no-go? That's an absolute no-go. That this is not, that you need to stop this process. I'm thinking more in a protective kind of mode.
Okay, so there's a lot of times where a client will contact me and say, hey, this guy is great. Oh my God, it's unbelievable, but he's in the military. Okay. So I'm like, okay, one thing you don't want to do is date someone who's in the military. Unfortunately, sorry, that's my belief, because if you're in the military, it's going to be very hard, because what's going to come out of their mouth is two things. One, I don't know when I'm going to be back because I'm in Afghanistan, and two, I don't have technology to be able to properly communicate with you. So that's most military people that are looking to date wait till they come back, right? They're not out there trying to fight a war and date at the same time. It's not fair to anybody, right? So I always tell my clients, like, look, that's a no-go. All you need to say is, hey, why don't you hit me back when you're back in town so we can properly communicate? Because, the questions that I get, it's not that they're military, it's that they can't properly date you. They're gone for 8 months. So when they're back, how about you, then, hey, if I'm still available, whatever, then you can talk. It's the same thing where a guy talks about money. I get a lot of females like, yeah, he's really rich and he's got a lot of money. And I'm like, okay, that's a red flag. They're not. So here's how scammers work. So a guy will say, hey, I have all this money, right? And he brags about it a little bit. I have this house, a car, or boat, or whatever. And he'll string you along with that. And then what happens is I have to go abroad to help children in the jungle. Okay. And now all of a sudden he's, texting you saying, oh my God, we have pirates coming and I need money wired. I'm good for it. So you've already bought into the notion that he's rich. So he'll pay you back. Right. So any talk about money is a red flag. Any talk. I don't care if they're bragging about a boat, they're sending you pictures about this. I was like, it's not worth it, because, and of course, what usually comes with it is they'll send me, I'll do a data dump, and the English of their messages and text are off. They're not like, this guy's supposed to be an American doctor, but he's talking like he's from Nigeria. The grammar is off. I mean, completely off. So there's red flags out there that you have to, be aware of. And there's so many people that get catfished because, there's like $50 million just in 2021 that was sent. Cell phones were bought for these catfishers. $50 million worth of cell phones were bought by scammers or people that were getting scammed. And so what happens, they send the cell phone over so they could do a video chat with the love of their lives. And even though they get the cell phone, they're like, oh, it doesn't work. I don't know what's going on. Me, I'm not a technological whiz. And they'll still keep making excuses. And it's a domino effect. They're like, even though they took the time to send them the phone, and they even call them a scammer. They even say, you're a scammer. I can't believe this. Week later, they're back into that dopamine roller coaster with the same guy because they're so in love with the story of this guy. So you got to be careful. You really got to be careful and follow a blueprint. If you can't get them on a video chat, you don't want anything to do with them. In 2022,
that's great.
yeah.
What about, just, it kind of goes along the same question. What do you tell your people for safety when they go meet people at the first face to face, just public place?
Yeah, public place. Don't drink alcohol. Why? Guys, if I have a guy client and he wants to have one drink to just kind of, whatever, that's fine. But I try to, make sure it's like, hey, do something that's, one, it's going to be fun, and one, it's going to be public. So I can't stand coffee dates. I think they're interview style. There's nothing worse than coffee breath and sitting across from someone interview style, right? So what you do is you take the coffee date and flip it on its head. So you go and grab coffee and take it to go and make sure there's something awesome and fun around the coffee place, like a museum or, a park or, something where you can walk and talk or something like that.
Okay.
The last thing you want to do is hang out at Starbucks and think that's going to be a romantic get together. Right.
Yeah, that's actually really good advice. I think that anyone listening who has either been wounded or has never dated, I think that you really should reach out here to Coach T. I think it's exciting to see some of the wisdom that just comes out. I think in the age of Tinder Swindler and the Inventing Anna, I think that that should really feed into what you do to help not only steer them in the right direction, but teach them to reflect and deflect the things that aren't good.
Yeah, and the biggest piece of advice I can give is, if you feel something that is wrong in your gut, reach out to somebody and just say, hey, what do you think about this? And more than likely, they're going to be like, what do you mean? This guy's a scammer. Because we're so caught up in our story with this person and the future that we imagine ourselves with this person, that you have to step away from that, get logical, and ask someone you trust to really take a look. And more than likely, they're going to be like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And they're going to point it out.
That's pure.
But you have to be brave enough to allow somebody to take a look for you, because the people that don't, and here's a big point, the people that don't reach out to someone or don't allow someone to give their piece of advice already know they're being scammed, and they're just addicted to it. They already know it. And they like the ride, they like the way it feels, and they don't want anybody blowing that for them, even though they know it's wrong, even though they know they're being scammed. And that's what I think in Tinder Swindler. I mean, the airplanes, I think they got caught up in an adventure, and they got addicted to it, right?
I agree. I think that's the same thing that I do in the relationship space, to say, if you really want to get through this one piece, give somebody permission to speak into your relationship. And it sounds like online dating is the same thing. I've often thought that those kinds of dopamine cycles, they make healthy relationships look like they're pale. And once you get addicted to them, you can really keep feeding that. And the truth is, there's just nothing better than a healthy relationship. Take all the ups and downs out of it when you have to take chemo, when you have to, those people are the ones that are there for you, not the ones that are taking you to, to St. Martin for the weekend.
Well, here's an eye-opening, real short experience that I had. I met with a client. She was in an abusive relationship. And I mean abusive physically, emotionally, everything. She's out of the relationship now at this point in time, as I'm having coffee with her, for about 7 months. And she's doing better. But you know what she said to me, which was striking? She said, it's not that I don't miss the relationship. I miss the pain, because I lived with it for so long. And I thought, oh my gosh, that was eye-opening.
It's like the pain reminds you you're alive. There's songs out there, right, that say the same thing. And I think that the sad part of that is they don't understand the other side of what you do to help them find a compatible match. Actually, after a while, and you get used to a life without that kind of up and down, it's its own kind of high, just to be peaceful, just to be confident, just to know that you're loved no matter what comes. But this is wonderful. Tell our community where they can find you and how they can find your boot camp.
Yeah, no, I hang out on Instagram. I'm kind of like Fonzie. I'm only in one spot. So you can find me at the Date Coach on Instagram. Just slide into my DMs, try not to trip and fall. And I'm here to help. I offer a 30-day boot camp for anyone who wants me in their back pocket to help them navigate the jungles of online dating as they're dating. So this isn't a boot camp where you go through the boot camp, then start dating. You're dating as we are in the boot camp. And that's why I'm here to, be accessible to answer any of your questions and guide you in the right direction and have you stay clear of all the dangers that a lot of people do fall into. So that's what I do.
And that's great. And I think that anybody who is thinking that maybe that will be the next step, I think it's a pretty common, and I think the number is 2 out of every 10 people are online dating. And 56% of people have had positive experiences, which I thought was very encouraging. So please reach out. We'll have your link down below. And I believe you said you have a book as well.
I do. It just came out. It's called Online Dating Secrets. So I highlight the most important things about online dating, where these are secrets I use with my clients, right? So, I'll give you one secret right now, which is crazy, but if you're on Tinder and you pull up the app and you're on the app and you're utilizing it, Tinder puts your matches in the second slot. So when you first see the first person, you can swipe left or right, it doesn't matter. The second person you see, 100% all the time, guaranteed, is a match. As long as it's a match, right? As long as they liked you. So, and I did this on a live Zoom with people and they're like, no way, that it can't happen. So I opened up my phone and I said, okay, let's test it out. Sure enough, boom, it was a match on the second one. And it works. I don't know why Tinder does this, but me and a few other coaches figured this out. Now, it doesn't mean that person you're going to like, right? You may look at that person and go, well, I don't like him, but let's just test it and see if it's a match. And sure enough, it is.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. I think that we need people to help us navigate this, because if we're going to develop a generation who's more prepared for healthy love and relationships, they better be familiar with what you do. So I'm excited. Thank you for taking the time to be here. I look forward to, hopefully over time, as things change and progress, to touch back in with you.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Happy to be here. Awesome.